This is Overtime, a live series brought to you by Riglinks and War Room Media, where we talk about basically anything we want. And here are your hosts, Greg Williams and Ryan Ray. Ryan, my friend, good morning.
Hello, buddy.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you?
It's crisp.
It's crisp over here too. I'm inside.
It's
I work from
crisp.
home, so I don't leave usually. So
I'm not used to all of this change in weather. Typically, in most places where I'm at, it's like it's 80 to 90 degrees all year long. So yeah, it's woke up this morning. I was like, I have to put on some socks, man. Brutal.
well, I got shorts on, so I just walked in from my bedroom and walked around the corner in here. So I'm okay.
And some coffee. That's good.
Yeah, I got some coffee. So we keep our bedroom in the wintertime as cool as we possibly can. So I don't know what it was in there last night. It had to be like low 60s, maybe in the 50s. It was freezing in there, which was wonderful.
I mean, if you live in Texas and you don't have your AC set on 70, I don't know what the issue is. So. All right.
Good. You're still here? It's
I am, man. I am. I'm still on this side of the world. I trying to get back into a routine here after, a whole year of COVID. I decided I'd make a trip to the gym yesterday for the first time. And that was an experience. That was an experience in its own. So that was unique. Every other machine, boy.
Did you do leg day?
No, it wasn't leg day. I'm trying just to get the cardio sorted back out, and then later on I'll probably go back to the weights. But the machines being blocked and wearing these masks on the cardio machines is it's a bit. You just got to get it in your head, and you just got to do it. That's all. It would be better for me, bro, if it was like edible mass and you could eat them while you were running, because that's basically almost what happens anyway.
So let me give you a little inside baseball. What you do is you do like I did, which is you buy the treadmill, you put it in the back room, and you never use it. But you can tell people that you own one, because when you say you own one, it's almost as if you're doing something. You're not. People think, "Oh, he's serious. He's got a treadmill."
We do have one of those fancy NordiTrack treadmills at the house, and we do have one of the tread climbers, which is a monster. If anybody's ever used one of those,
you heard me. He said, "You hear me?
It is absolutely the worst machine. If you want to feel yourself cry and hurt and not be much of a man, then get you one of those tread climbers and get on there for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then later on that day you will never want to do that again. So it's brutal. All right, let's see what we got here for this week. All right. Talk a little bit about the oil prices. Some of this, Ryan, we've been talked about over and over for this week. I'm always a little bit late when it comes to our show, but by the time we get to Thursday, it's been talked about a couple of times. So I apologize anybody out there if they've heard a bit of this over and over. But this is Overtime, and this is where Ryan and I basically talk about anything from one spectrum to the other. So one of the things we don't have on the list today, and Ryan brought up before we got started, was some stuff about the short squeeze and GameStop. So I think that'd be good to cover there, and we'll probably close the show out with that one. But we'll talk about oil prices, Biden throwing the brakes on us, Diamond Offshore, another victim there, Elon doing some drilling, need some natural gas, teachers, vaccinations, and schools, which will probably be a larger portion of the show once we get to it. Some of our most famous brands are pulling out of the Super Bowl this year from running ads, so which I think it's kind of a good thing. Anyway, and UFC 257, which I watched the entire card. It was great.
So
It was good. It was good.
I called the fight. So where's our boy Reagan at? Where's he at?
Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's
James
see.
Reagan, where you at? Calling me out.
Morning, everybody, and good afternoon, good night, wherever you're at in the world. We've got Nigeria. We've got Spain. Oh, sorry, Croatia. Didn't mean to throw that in there on you, Rutan. Sorry about that. Let's see. India. Okay, he is in India. Let's see. We've got Jose's back. Yeah, man. Yeah, we'll talk about GameStop here just right before we get ready to close. But yeah, without further ado, let's jump over to the oil prices. So Ryan, that's 52.82 on the crude on WTI, and that is 55.78 on the Brent. Thoughts?
It's lovely. Everything is
fabulous.
Lovely. Fabulous. We did see, I think, I'm trying to pull up we'll see here. We had a draw, I believe, yesterday. Let's see, the EIA reported that crude inventories fell by 9.9 million barrels. So, when you have that kind of drop, you're going to see that the price is going to go up. I don't care where it's at. And so, so it's not really surprising. I heard an interesting discussion the other day, and they were saying, these two guys, let's listen to pretty smart chaps. They said they expect the price to go up to 60 to 65 this year, but then Creator back down to 35. And so I thought that was
did they speculate on what part of the year they thought that Creator might be coming? Because we possibly find some work before the end.
Yeah, like the next summer 60, 65, fall, winter 35. And essentially the thesis is that the storage is going to balance back out, and the storage balances back out. It's going to drive the price up. And then once that happens, then you'll see the over drilling that we always have, and then that'll just push it right back down. So
I definitely believe in the over drilling, but also how predictable is the weather in the world today? I mean, I'm hearing colder winters in Asia, in some of the parts of the world that are, just getting fully ramped back up, or,
Yeah, well, so this analyst's take is really based upon supply. He doesn't really look at demand, and so his point is that so if you look at just he uses a checking account analogy, and it's I'll tell you what everyone is. It's Dave Ramsey Woods podcast with Art Berman. So if you listen to DRW's podcast with Art Berman, and essentially he says, think about it like this: if you have a bank account, a checking account, and a savings account, and your savings account has $1 billion in it, you don't really care what your checking account has, because if your checking account goes broke, you're not gonna overdraw it, you're not gonna overdraft, it's gonna go with your savings. Now, if your savings account has $10 in it, then you really need to know what's in your checking account. And so, from his perspective, he looks at the storage more than does anything else. So he thinks that the storage is going to go down, but then which will cause the prices to go up, and then the prices go up, and then essentially it will get drilled back down. So that's his thesis. So we'll see. I do know, and I tweet this out.
And then we sling a price change up in the middle of it, or a oversupply from our boys at OPEC.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing, of course.
Yeah.
So the other thing is, if you look,
it does make sense though. That's a good analogy. Never thought about it like that, like a checking account.
Yeah, and so
I'm on the one with $10, by the way.
Yeah. I got 3, so you got more than me. Sponsor the show. You got 4 kids. Some of the early China demand numbers are coming out, and it's not looking good. So that's gonna be interesting to see how that plays into this. So in response to this is from Six Tone. In response to demand, several airlines have slashed prices for popular routes from Beijing to the northeast city of Harbin, October 10th. And they basically cut 80% off the full price. 80%.
Think the opposite's going to happen, Jose? Cartels and drugs in America. I mean, cartels and drugs in America. I mean, that's been going on forever. I don't think. I think if you want to put oil in there with cartels and drugs, I think it's probably one of the youngest out of the 3. But yeah.
So I'm always reluctant to speak on the war thing, just because war is terrible, and I think that It's possible. So I'll throw it out there like, well, of course, we could have a war. We could do this or whatever. But the war thing is, it's funny. I've got two people I'm interviewing later today. One is about the Chinese, how they treat the Uyghurs. And that
Oh
started
yeah,
as a result of our war on terror. So anyways, and the other one is talking about the wars that we fought over Iraq. So anyways, we could get into war, but the thing with the war theory is, I'm curious your thoughts on this, Greg, is that um, if you look at pre 9/11 and how prices would impact the kind of Middle East disturbances and wars that really be responded post 9/11, they would be. But then when the shale revolution happened, that didn't seem to change. That kind of put that narrative to bed. So for the past 5 to 10 years, we've had outbreaks and things like that haven't really impacted oil prices. So it had to be a massive war to really, the Saudis had their facility attacked like 3 years ago, whatever it was, 2 years ago, and the price went up for like 3 weeks. So it has to be something significant.
I agree with you, Ron. I think the little spats that you see from time to time is not gonna make a huge difference. It'd have to be something to where it would invoke a total economic change in a country, which would be all of their resources would be directed at supplying the military. That's the only way that you would see anything affect the market.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. So, one that's been talked to death this week, Biden slinging the brakes on us, pausing onshore and offshore drilling leases. But I did read this morning, that the Western Alliance, which represents 200 oil and gas companies, has immediately challenged it, calling it unsupported, unnecessary, and an overreach. I'm sure that everyone, though, right, had like papers drafted up for weeks in advance.
Oh, lawyers were calling.
They already had their retainers drafted.
Yeah.
They already had everything set and going, and a weekend when everything, all of these executive orders came out, they were just like, boom, pay me, boom, here, everything going in the door at the same time.
I'll be honest with you, I'm not worried about this as much as I am the announcement yesterday. Did you see the announcement yesterday? I forgot to include this. I didn't think about it until you brought this up. Did you see what happened yesterday with the Biden administration?
Didn't I? Well, I mean, I've seen a lot over the last couple of days. Which
Climate Justice Department?
The Climate Justice Department.
Yes, they are
in the same office as Space Force.
No, they are tasking the DOJ.
Oh, yeah.
To start an office inside the DOJ for climate justice. Let me tell you something. That is far more concerning than any permit drops that we have, because you're talking about potential criminal charges being pressed.
Yeah, I mean, I guess through this last week or so, it looks like a larger landscape of permanent bans. That's what it's starting to look like to me.
Well, so I'm kind of torn. If you have the Climate Justice Department, okay, and whatever they're going to do, which is, I'm working on a piece just to block that whole thing. But
do it, man. Send it. I'm ready for one of those unsubscribe messages. Ryan, your newsletter is total crap. You're a hypocrite. I hit the unsubscribe button. Thank you, sir.
Did I tell you about the one with the lawyer?
No, man.
Oh, do you want to talk about that now? Or wait?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I had a guy, this is probably about 3 weeks ago, and he sends me a thing and calls me a left-wing ignoramus.
A left-wing
ignoramus. Yeah.
Ignoramus. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He says, stop sending me your crap. You're nothing but another left-wing ignoramus, and I can get your back on the MSM news. Grow up here, you jack. I don't think.
Yeah. Okay. So, but he used MSN as a reference point.
Mainstream media, MSM. Yeah.
Oh.
So, okay. And so it's like, okay. So so this is at.
And he's a lawyer. So me personally, everyone, I don't. There's a few things in this world that I am concerned about whenever you go into the offices of any professional. There's two of them actually. One is a doctor. It doesn't matter what doctor it is. I'm always concerned. And just by the way, dentists are not doctors. I'm just putting that out there.
Ooh,
The second,
I like it.
the second one is a lawyer. So anytime you have to physically make an appearance in a lawyer's office, there's an issue.
Well,
This is not because you're there picking up or delivering food or anything like. There's a reason that you would
you're
be
paying them to see them.
Exactly, and it's not typically something you want to be there for.
Yeah, so this lawyer is so smart. He sent this 2:15 a.m. email with his company address. So
2:15 a.m.
Yeah, I could go look up his corporation. I might could throw it out there if I wanted to be that. I'm not. So he sends me that.
So he was up at 2:15 or yeah,
a grown man.
And what I like about emails like that is he probably just got finished doing a line, and he said, okay, well, I hope he's listening right now because this is great.
Yeah. So
why are you up at 2:15?
I thought about going by his office because he sent it from his company email because it's an email newsletter. Okay. So then I sit back I kind of mocked him saying that you don't know what, I said, do you even know what a left-wing position is? I don't think you do. A free market libertarian. I know your blind support for Trump makes you think anyone who disagrees with him is left-wing, yet you do not realize some of his positions are left-wing. I'm a full-grown man with a wife and 4 kids, not some random guy sending another random guy an angry email at 2:15 a.m. Maybe you should consider growing up and trying on a pair.
So wipe that Coke dust off your face and put the booze down at 2:15 in the morning and quit sending emails.
So he responds back to that and calls me a dumb. Again, and that's what it says, one word. And so I send this back.
Terrific.
This is a quote. I've got screenshots for this. I said, anytime you want to come on my show and debate anything, I'm game. We both know you would get embarrassed, but the offer stands if you decide to grow that pair you mentioned. Do you think he responded?
Probably not.
He did not respond. He did not respond. He did not. Mr. Angry 2:15 a.m. did not have the pair.
I think whenever you told him that was he aware that you knew where he was at, his location? Typically, when most people are,
it's like, bro, like I looked you up, but I gave him Greg. He's a lawyer. I said anything. He could have picked some obscure legal code and so I offered it to him. I said, if you want to come on, if you want to smoke, come get it. I'm right here. I'm a full grown man. Let's go. But obviously, Mr. 2:15 a.m.
Yeah, just go. Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean,
so that's
nothing like a good challenge, right?
Well, I mean, when you call one man to grow a pair, and another man calls you out and says, "Well, here's my pair. Where's yours?" I feel like that's like if you back down, you've lost the right to say that anymore.
This is what happens whenever you do that.
I'm just saying, like, you've lost the right to say that. Like, you can't say that phrase anymore.
No.
You lost it right. So,
took your grow a pair card away.
Yes. And so, if you're ever looking for oil and gas attorneys in Fort Worth, you hit me up. I will just give you the yes or no if it's this guy. So that's I won't say, So that's my service to America right there.
And Ryan's always looking to give good service. Moving on.
Whoa, I caught that.
All right, so our next one here, quickly, Diamond Offshore files for Chapter 11. Ryan, that's another big one that went down. When we talk about big names offshore, Diamond is one of them. They are the current company that is combined of former companies Otico, Zapata, Arethusa, Diamond M. And if anyone is familiar with Zapata, you'll know that is George Bush Sr.'s company that was founded in 1953 and actually started drilling in the Permian long before the shale boom. So, but Bush sold his shares in Zapata in 1966 and went into politics. And so the rest is history. So, again, just a little bit of history about Diamond Offshore. But, yeah, they hopefully they get cleaned up there and come out lean and strong at the end and ready to go back to work.
Will Elon be buying some of their equipment?
I don't think so, man. I think when you talk about Diamond's probably got one of the longest histories as far as they were late into the deep water game, but they had always been mid water to shallow water floaters, but I mean deep water with the ships and bringing on the 6Gen and technology. They have always been a really good company in places where we grew up at, Ryan. I mean, there was Global Marine and there was Diamond Offshore when we were growing up. That was the two big offshore companies to work with at the time. I, of course, went off and went to work for Hercules, but it was I didn't know enough people with the other two companies to get a job. So, but yeah, I mean, this is opening up 2021 here. Here's another one. So we're not out of the red yet. Nowhere near it.
No, we're not.
Still too many rigs on the market.
Probably so.
You brought up Elon though. The next one here is about Elon doing some drilling, which I thought was great. We know he moved to Texas. It looks like he's planning on doing some drilling as well. They're saying they're not sure what the gas will be used for, but the intention is to drill wells close to its Boca Chica launch pad. That's, of course, was announced this past Friday in a hearing before the Texas Railroad Commission. For me, more the merrier. Get in there, Elon.
Well, it's good to get someone like Elon who has some more liberal-leaning tendencies than maybe more of our traditional oil and gas CEOs who can kind of span the gap, And so he doesn't represent your typical, oil and gas executive. And so for him to get into the space is kind of just introduces it to a new market. We had on Sergio Chapa on the Texas Oil and Gas podcast Monday, who has a story about this in Bloomberg, and he kind of said what you're saying, which is they're not really sure what they're going to use it for, but they've been buying it up from they created a company to start buying this up a year or two ago, and so it's kind of been in the works for quite some time. It seems like there's a little bit of a dispute about the land, about the minerals, but so I think it's a good thing, like you say, the more the merrier. And again, Elon doing this will put some folks who are anti-oil and gas in a weird spot. Do you support Elon Musk's mission and the Tesla and all that stuff?
This is the exact statement that I made to my wife yesterday. With all of the randomness that comes, from Elon Musk and some of the things that he's done, some of the stings like a bee, but some of the things that he's done, over the course of, the last 10, 15 years. I mean, but if anyone knows the history of Tesla, it was going in the drink, and Elon stepped in and basically pulled it out of the muck and the mire and made it what it is today. But if it hadn't have been for him, it would they would have been pieced and parted out and probably sold off for scrap, way early on. But when it comes to putting things together and thinking outside of the box and what's over the next, what's over the horizon or what's coming, he's the guy. So he's all over the forefront of multiple different things. But the main thing that he's doing is he's focusing. He's rode that train all the way to the end here. I'm not saying all the way to the end, but I mean, he's still got to make it to Mars. But anyway, he's rode that train here all the way to the end. And now he's like, okay, now I actually need to make a public statement that I might need something from the oil and gas side, which I told the wife yesterday. I was, I like Elon a bit more and more every day. So,
well, yeah. So my deal with Elon would be, kind of like, we will take you, but we don't trust you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, it wouldn't surprise me if Elon was mad we got the Paris Climate Accords. So I wouldn't do the typical, right wingers have a tendency when anyone kind of moderate or left wing halfway converge, we're like, yeah, and then they disappoint us. Okay. And so, I think if you're kind of a right wing person or an oil and gas person in this case, and you're kind of excited about Elon, I would say, yeah, but okay, yeah, you come on, but we're still watching you. When the chips are down and you face that pressure, if the Biden administration threatens to pull some of your tax credits that you have, or something like that, what are you going to do then? So I would say it's a win, it's a W. And if he folds, then we can pound him for his hypocrisy and being soft. And if he holds strong, we can praise him. But I wouldn't bank on him being all in just quite yet on supporting our industry.
No, no.
Yeah.
I never said all in. Let's just
No.
just for
I
the
know.
record, just for the record, I never said all in. He's
No, you did.
definitely, yeah.
But I'm saying people will want to view this as, hey, Elon, he's on our side now, and I'm not quite sure. I would say let's let him face some pressure where he's going to lose money from his company gets all kinds of tax credits and benefits and subsidies.
Sure.
So when that's on the line, we'll see where he really stands.
One quick one here from Jose. By the way, Jose, thanks for coming back to another show. If it wasn't for you, there would just be me and Ryan, and maybe James.
James isn't showing up because he got embarrassed over his Connor pick last week. I got him.
Oh, that was brutal. So yeah, Jose. Actually, what happens here is the people that own the stock are the ones that basically get it in the hoop. So when these companies take this, they turn around and liquidate all the shares, pull back all the value, spit it back into it, and go find a hedge fund company that'll front them long term. Spend 5 years, 6, 7, 8 years, whatever, paying it back, and it's the stockholders that get beat up here, basically.
Always is.
They're not bailed out. So
yeah,
just for the record.
Yeah. Well, they could. I mean, there could be some. There could be eventually, but if you're going through bankruptcy, typically you're not going to be.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. Next, we'll talk about the teachers' vaccination in schools, Ryan. So remote learning. I listened to this thing yesterday while I was beating myself up on the treadmill, but they were on it, and it wasn't really that bad. I'm really exaggerating, but I listened to this teacher talking about how awful remote learning was, and for a few reasons. The ones that are in special situations or need additional support, they're basically left completely out. When you're living in a single parent household, you have a child with special needs, you have to obviously be working to pay the bills.
Mm-hmm.
So who's going to be monitoring the child's remote learning? It's just so if you're the parent of a child with special needs during this school closure, partially open period, then I can get on the level with you, and I can understand your frustration. So they say that children are more likely. Now, I don't know what the stats are here. I just saw a brief blurb about it, but more likely to contract COVID from an adult than from another child. What do you think, Ryan?
It depends on why they're saying that. So most of my understanding on COVID transmission is about length of time in front of someone. So if you're saying that they're more likely to contract it from an adult because they're talking to their parents for longer periods of time than they are their friends, then that would make sense. If you're saying, but that's one argument. The other argument could be that you're saying that.
Okay, so you're basing it on environment and who's in their environment for a more prolonged period.
I'm just saying that could be one take on that. The other take could be
if they're at home more. That's absolutely right, because they're not in school more. That's for sure.
Well, and even at school, you got to think, if they've got 10 friends throughout the 8-hour school day, how long are they actually interacting directly with one friend for more than a minute or two? Probably not long, right?
That's 9 more friends than I have.
Well, that's 10 more friends than I got, so probably 11 actually, but still.
You got your lawyer. I bet he's your friend.
No,
secretly.
Yeah,
using him.
He's a big fan.
Using him as a public pawn.
Big fan of the show.
But I guess the argument here would be, are schools like going to be doomed to be these super spreader locations?
I mean, my Craig. So you have, as you say, maybe a elderly grandparent who's raising their kid, and you're kind of worried about that situation, or you have some extremes. And so I hate talking about these things. Everyone wants to put about the what about. Okay, well, we can deal with the what abouts, but we have the.
We're only going to spend like 75 more seconds on this. So go ahead.
Oh, well, then in that case, let's let it rip, baby. Just let it rip.
What do you think about that? What do you think about the teacher vaccinations? Do you know if all the teachers are vaccinated, should the schools fully reopen? That's
Well,
that's my
I
end
mean,
here.
do you remember that? I mean, if you look up the vaccinations, they don't prevent you from getting the virus. They
Yeah.
huh?
Nah. I mean,
That's what
it,
they say. I'm not making it up, but that's what Pfizer says. It doesn't lower the it is low. It lowers your symptoms. It doesn't actually lower the chance to get the virus. Just go look at Pfizer stuff directly. Don't trust me. Go read it. Um. So yeah, I mean, but
so
yeah,
it
go ahead.
doesn't. So what's Pfizer saying? It says that you are only going to be able to carry it. You're not going to become sick with the virus,
Your
or
symptoms are reduced.
oh, that's great. Doesn't
So
really do a whole lot of shit, does it? Except for the elderly.
I mean, so listen, I'll tell you what. I will
So
send you.
22 million Americans, as of the count this morning, have been vaccinated. So that's 22 million Americans that will have slightly less worse symptoms.
Well, so that's the funny thing is that you could have sent you. So what they're saying is you could like, you know, may have very, very, very mild symptoms. So then you technically got it and you didn't know it, and then next thing you know, you're like, oh well, that's weird. So I mean, listen, Kaiser Fung has a whole series on this, and he's a pretty good guy. And so I'll send this to you. You can go through and read it. I mean, it's not. I'm not. You know, it's hilarious to read what they're saying, and he's not even tackling it from that perspective. He's looking at some other stuff. It's just in his reporting on it, this comes out, and so it's another thing is, I mean, okay, all right, you said 70 seconds, so I'll stop.
Dude, there's so much speculation around all of this stuff, man.
Yeah, so I'll send you this link, and you can go through.
We can argue next week about it. We got to
There's
move
nothing. I
on.
mean, yeah, we can argue.
No, I mean, the point that I'm making here is that if we're vaccinated, um, if the teachers are vaccinated, cannot the schools go ahead and fully reopen?
Of course,
Yeah.
but I mean, how long? I mean, are you gonna make them get vaccinated?
Uh, I mean, would you like make it a mandatory to be vaccinated? I think that would.
No,
I think that would go back to your counties and who you've elected as officials. I mean, they're going to be the ones slinging out the rules, are they not? The school boards.
mm-hmm. I
So
don't.
so if your elected officials and your school boards are all on the same page and they all say that you need to be vaccinated before you can teach, then
Well, but teachers are unionized normally, so they would. So the union will probably be the one determining it, right?
yeah, yeah. I mean, would you call that an overreach? I mean, I don't know.
I'm not a union guy, so
I'm not either. I'm also not a teacher, but I can tell you that if I was going to be in a school teaching, I'd go ahead and get the vaccine. I mean, it's just I mean, although it's slightly less, um, you know, symptoms, it doesn't matter one way or the other. What if you have 6 kids in the classroom that have all 6 different strains of COVID? So I mean, you don't even know anymore. Was it now 2, 3 different strains of it? I mean, how do you know which one? How do you know which one you got now? Is there a strain? Is there a strain monitor or reader that when you take your test, it say, "Oh, by the way, you have strain number 1." There's nothing that tells you anymore. So that's why I said there's so much speculation. But again, I think if you want to stay on some kind of straight and narrow, if you want to get the kids back to some kind of normalcy, then I think that you need to have some kind of rules in place to get everybody kicked back off and headed in that way. That's all.
all right, so I'll put this in here for everyone to go read, and
Do it.
it's not so. Just so you know, I will put the link. You have to go back through. So this is the current page of his blog. You have to go back through and read where he talks about the vaccines. It's back on like page 3 or 4. So
I know, Jose. I did. I did actually. I did actually read that a couple of days ago, and I laughed too. I'm not going to put it up on the screen, but
yeah, I saw that.
they are doing some. They're definitely doing some strange testing in some places. But all right, we're going to move on here over to our Super Bowl ad pool. So Budweiser, Pepsi, Coke, and Audi, to name a few, have have pulled out some ads this year's the U.S.'s largest televised sporting event.
Coke and Pepsi are both out. Oh, I didn't see that. I thought
Okay. So Pepsi pulled the actual Pepsi, not PepsiCo. So they still have Frito-Lay in there, and they still have a couple of other brands, but not
soft drink.
right, the soft drink.
Wow, I did not know that.
So, but last year, we had, I think they had, rather not we. If it was me, I'd be taking me to the bank. But it was, they had 98.2 million viewers, but which was the lowest. It's been at an 8-year low. Now, sorry, 8 year. It's 11-year low. But I would also assume that this year will be year number 12 for the low.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. I mean, but there's more people at home. I'm not 100% sure. But Budweiser looks to be refocusing on smaller bars and restaurants, supporting them to get back reopened.
The show.
Exactly.
Remembering
Remembering the little guys.
Yes.
Remembering the little guys. Come on in here, Anheuser-Busch.
The big little guys.
We're same reason for being on that treadmill. But I think but what this has done, Ryan, is it's opened up some spots for smaller companies, like Triller, which of course did the Tyson Jones fight, Fiverr and Vroom. So and I think those spots were selling at something like $5 million a spot.
Yeah, I mean, my read on this is pretty simple. Is we're talking about the GameStop thing here in a minute, but pre-GameStop mania, we were told, "Oh, look at the stock market! Look at the stock market. These companies are all making money. They're doing great. Look how great things are." Da 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 da. Listen, if Coke and Pepsi both are not advertising in the Super Bowl, folks, we got some pain coming. Pain, as Mr. T would say. It's going to, like, if one of them is out, you can at least say, well, things are kind of tight. Why compete? But when they're both out and Budweiser's out, okay, they can spend it however they want to. They ain't wanting to spend that money because things is hurting. Or the other thing is they're not getting their ROI. But still, I don't care if it's down 10 or 12 years in a row. 98 million eyeballs. That's pretty good. Like, that's pretty good. You're not gonna get that on a lot of spots. And so to turn that down, and these folks, and this is the one thing that people actually watch commercials. So this is the best commercial.
I have to agree.
So the fact that they're not doing this just tells you, we got a little pain coming.
I agree. I think with the scenery changing a bit, I mean, and the big names pulling out of, I mean, but for anyone out there that's interested, Super Bowl 55 will be on February the 7th.
Give our picks next week. Right?
February 7th. It'll be at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. Also, the first time in Super Bowl history that one of the competing teams will be playing in their home stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Why the hell could that never happen with the Saints?
Because the Saints are not good. I was about to say this never happened because the Saints ain't been good enough at one time.
Blip on the radar.
Let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about it.
All right. UFC 257.
Yeah, where you at, James Reagan? Where you at? Mm-hmm.
Man, he's not in here. I have to send him a WhatsApp message. James, where you at, pal?
Where's the clip of Ryan calling the shot for Poirier? Where's it at? Like, you have all these clips queued up, but me calling the shot, no one's got that. It's funny how that works. No one's got that clip of me saying Poirier. I saw people losing their minds Saturday, and I'm like, if you'd have listened to your boy, you'd have known. I
was actually on the fence a little bit, but when I realized that going into it, when you're looking at the stats and looking at the gym time, you start looking at what Conor had been doing. It was more and more right in your face. He hadn't been active enough. I mean, but let's just take a little look at the card here. Now, earlier that day, our local here in Houston, which is Comcast, UFC doesn't do anything with Comcast. So,
yeah,
exactly. So it's all ESPN. So which was okay. I had but I watched the entire card. The three main event or these last three here. So Jessica Joanne Calderwood, Dan Hooker, Michael Chandler, and Dustin and Connor. Those were the three fights that I liked the most. And the reason I'm saying this is because Jessica had some previous physical issues and some other things that was going on. But when she walked into the ring or the octagon, she looked good. She looked like she was ready to fight. She was ready to go. And I'll be damned if Joanne didn't sling hands on her.
She's a kindergarten teacher.
I
She's
mean,
so nice. She's just like, yeah, I went in there and I just, I beat her up.
Like she beat her from every corner to every corner of it. I mean, it was just it was rough to watch, but it was a really good fight. I liked watching it. Really good fight. The other upset there was Chandler and Hooker.
I got that one wrong. I thought Hooker was going to win.
I was wrong on Hooker as well because I called him from the beginning. But yeah, a little over 2 minutes into round one, we were both proven wrong there. And then, but then I think Chandler's coming over from Bellator, is he not?
Yeah.
And so he basically called out Poirier and McGregor at the end of this fight with Hooker.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to tell you, the way Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor were both fighting, if Chandler had stepped in the octagon with either one of them, he would have got them both. I think
he was keyed up.
I think Chandler would have taken either Conor or Dustin last night or that night.
He was keyed up. There's no doubt about it. Let me ask you this, Greg. You mentioned a few.
Look, Chandler wasn't even on the mat. I mean, Hooker wasn't even on the mat.
Yeah.
And he hit him 4 times before he could get his back up against the fence, man. So there's absolutely no way that Conor or Dustin would have been prepared for that kind of onslaught. Not that fast.
So let me ask you, you scroll down that page. You said you've been to a casino before, right? Scroll down a little bit more. Is that as far as it goes? It doesn't show the prelims. Okay.
It doesn't show the prelims.
Well, okay, so right there, right there. That's fine. That's perfect. Okay. So you've been to a casino. You're familiar with the term parlay, I'm sure.
Yes.
Okay. So Saturday night, I'm sitting around and I see out that someone tweets out this ticket that he works at a casino or covers betting or anyways. It's a 5-team. That's called team. 3 more fighters, but 5-team parlay. Which, as you know, Greg, the more you take 5 different bets, you put them. If they all hit, then you get really good odds, right?
That's right.
Okay. So this, I guess, a gentleman will say, placed $59,900 to win $362,717.95. Okay, $60,000 to win $360, basically. His first fight on the card was Khalil Roundtree, who lost.
He got his face beat smooth off, man.
His next
fight
card
going into that fight, he did okay for the first couple of minutes, though.
Yeah. So his next fight, so Khalil Roundtree, so he lost the 5-team parlay, the first one done. It gets worse from there. His next one was Amanda Rebus, who you have as a loser. So he goes 0 for 2. Scroll up a little bit more there for me, Greg. His third one was Conor McGregor, 0 for 3. And then he had both the Chiefs and the Packers. The Packers minus 3.5, the Chiefs minus 3. So the Packers make it 0 for 4. The Chiefs is his only 5-team parlay, goes 1 for 5, cost the man $59,900. $59,900. My man. That's like, you don't need that. Like I could have spent $60K better for you. I'm just saying.
Well, if you were just using that, okay, so put it in perspective. If you were just doing the 5-pick parlay here, let's just say on these 5 fights, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So there's 5 up here. So where would you have landed out here?
I would have picked so Poirier. So you guys scroll up for me. I'd have picked Poirier,
Poirier.
Hooker.
I would have been Hooker.
I'd pick Jessica
I would have picked Jessica as well.
Muradov.
I would have picked Muradov. Yeah.
So we're what? We're 2 and then I don't know on this one. I don't know. I'd have just picked the favorite because I don't know. So I'd have picked Rebus because I don't know. I don't know either of those ladies. So we'd have gone what 2 and 3.
Yeah, we would have done one better than he had. So, I mean, it doesn't sound like we're professionals either. I like fights too. But I'm going to tell you, I was entertained. I had a good time. I enjoyed watching it. That was, but again, fighting at 8 a.m. in Abu Dhabi, that's a completely different time frame for most of these guys and ladies whenever they're slinging hands at 11, 12 o'clock midnight in Las Vegas. So the scenery is a little different for sure.
And real quick, put some on your radar here. Next week in Super Bowl, we'll talk about some, but also Bare Knuckle. Bare Knuckle will be down in Tampa Bay. My guy that I used to manage, Quentin Henry, will be fighting Chris Lieben next Friday night, I believe. So if you like bare knuckle boxing,
I want to see Dustin Poirier and Chandler go bare knuckles and see how that works out. Did you see Chandler's backflip? I thought he was over.
Yeah.
When he done his backflip, I was like,
yeah, I know.
That's it. That's 2 ACLs gone right there. He's out. He's gonna
fine for me. Like all my that would have been done.
It would have been like lower F5, R9. All of it would have been blown.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, I'd been done.
All right. We got about 10 more minutes here, Ryan. So let's talk about GameStop and the short squeeze here. First off, one comment I want to make is I think it is fair time, and I think it was coming. So we can go ahead from there.
I mean, I think that if anyone, wherever you were on the Trump purge, and and all of that stuff, I think anyone who's a fair person has to realize now that, listen, once you piss them off, whoever them is in this case, they're coming for you. Like those days of pretending that they care. Robinhood, unless they've changed their business model, Robinhood makes its money because they don't charge you. It makes its money. So if I want to buy a GameStop share, it says, let's just make all this up here. GameStop's trading for $10. I tell Robinhood buy it for $10. It sends my order through a high frequency trader, sells it to them, and then they place the order. So they make like a 10.01 and I get it for 10.02, right? So they made a buck, they made a buck by trading off of me. That's how they make their money. And there's other ways, I'm sure, but they're selling data and doing all this stuff to make money. The fact that they are now blocking people from making trades, which is essentially locking them into bad positions potentially, is got to be the most corrupt thing I have ever seen in my entire life. It's or not my entire life, I guess, a little dramatic, but it's terrible. And so,
but they've claimed it's not illegal.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. So folks, if you think that, if you're a left wing,
there you go. 199.53.
Yeah. So this is what people do. This is what people do. These hedge funds. And so here's what started this whole thing. Just so we're clear, some big hedge fund guy came out and talked about how he was going to short it and how it was going to work and all this stuff. He did a presentation. Well, then these other guys sit around like, okay. So they were all going to do the opposite. They were just shorting the stock. And these Robinhooders, these traders figured it out and busted it. Well, okay, guys. So if you're a left winger on the left side of the spectrum and you appreciated what you saw a few weeks ago when they kicked people off social media, just realize this is a bipartisan issue here.
It is bipartisan, exactly right.
It's just average folks making money, and they say you can't do it. And so the elite hate you, the mainstream media hates you, and there's no other,
I say let it rip. I'm the same way with Elon Musk coming in there drilling wells. I say let it rip. You get in there if you figured out a better machine, a better mechanism to be able to do it, to make some of the money that you lost last year, either by not having a job or by taking the last little bit of retirement you got and put it in something. I'm saying fight for it, tooth and nail. Get in there and get it.
Well, and so I like Robinhood. I do, because it's easy to buy stocks on. They'll take your dividend and reinvest them. But I am people from Reddit, but they're using Robinhood and other stuff like that. So yeah, they organize on Reddit, but they're using Robinhood and other free trading platforms to do this. It's not institutional investors.
For anyone that's just coming in, so why is everyone talking about GameStop? The simplest answer is that stock has skyrocketed by somewhere around 8,000% over the last 6 months. More complex answer is that the stock has become a central gaming piece in a financial power struggle between hedge fund major Melvin Capital and a group of amateur stock traders who are banded together on the internet. So that's the kind of background to what's happening here. So you got big against little, and little is just jumping on them, just
right.
steady.
So here you go, Greg. I cut you off. I'm sorry.
And the only reason I know about shorting and the squeeze is because I watched Billions. That's the only reason. Other than that, I would never know anything about it. And if you watch Billions, it's a great show. Go catch it.
Okay, so right now, this is 4 seconds ago. The Robinhood stock is trading at $126, which means that if Robinhood is locking you out of your account and you bought at 300, trying to push it up, then they have just cost you,
a lot of money.
A lot of money. How many shares you bought? And so, I like I said, I like Robinhood. I like the platform, but I've cashed out all my stuff as of this morning with them, and I will be closing out my account. Well, I mean, I can't get stuck in a trade.
I mean, that makes sense though. That makes sense though. But you're one person. How multiply that times how many other people are done that this morning?
Yeah, and so I think the pushback here, to be quite honest with you, and no one wants to talk about this. If you really want to end this game that they play, everyone empty out their 401ks. Just cash them out. That would be it. People don't realize that that's really what. The reason the laws are the way they are is to keep your money in the stock market so they can play with free money. They get you to work.
What do they think? Where do you think all this money comes out from the hedge funds? Where do they think they get all this capital at? It's not like it just appears out of nowhere. They're playing with people's retirement. So
yeah, and so if the laws are incentivized to keep you there. So, anyways, I know we gotta go, Greg.
Yeah, that's good.
It's on me today. We had to cut the show short, but I appreciate it, and thanks everyone.
No problem, man. It's an awesome show. Thanks for joining us this week, Ryan, and all of our people out there. It wouldn't be the same without you. I'd have to talk to somebody else on the other side of the screen that wasn't as blusterous and beautiful. So, hey, man, I appreciate the time, and that's a wrap.
Back to 10 o'clock next week.
Absolutely. Out of here. You've been watching Overtime, a live series brought to you by Rick Links and War Room Media. Your hosts have been Greg Williams and Ryan Ray. For sponsorship opportunities, send us an email at info@ricklinks.com. Tune in next Thursday at 10 a.m. CST for another live episode.